very powerful voice on this fundamental issue to the House of Commons, should the voters of Outremont do what we think they may with your help and with a lot of hard work between now and Monday night. And so I just want to say to Tom, because I haven't really quite had the opportunity in front of a crowd like this, to say thank you for your commitment to what we're doing and for having joined our team. I think Tom also understands the concerns of the average hard-working person in our society today. And the best example I got of that, we were just having lunch, and he has a way with words, this fellow. It's the Irish in him, I think. And because we've been talking, just as a little example, about this business of the banks and how they take us for granted. In fact, worse, they skewer us every time we go in to try and take our money out of their bank machines. Have you noticed that? Just a few months ago, we proposed that that no longer be allowed. And I have to say, the response across the country to this has been quite astounding. Something that small, it doesn't seem like it would be a big policy issue, but it was symbolic of what people feel is happening to them these days, which is that the rich are becoming unbelievably rich. The huge corporations seem to be doing immensely well. In fact, if you look at the headlines, you'd think we were as prosperous an economy as it would be possible to have. And yet families find themselves struggling just to make ends meet, to get by. We have students graduating with student debt, the equivalent to the mortgage on a house that they don't even have. And then they can't even follow up on the kinds of work that they'd like to do with that newfound knowledge and expertise, because the job in that field doesn't pay enough to pay off their debt. They have to go and find some other job or even move out of town. We have a completely irrational system when it comes to education. In fact, I liken it to, we're the only species I can think of that would, and if you can think of this through this metaphor with me, you have a bird's nest. You've got the little baby birds. They grow up. They're just ready to fly. You've got them all set to go. And we decide to put a millstone around the neck of the bird just before they leave the nest. That's what we're doing when we send students out with the kind of debt that we're sending them out with right now. It's wrong. We should be reducing the cost of education. We shouldn't be saddling students with this kind of debt. And in fact, we've laid out a full program, and I invite you to visit it on ndp.ca, that would dramatically reduce student debt, that would freeze and lower tuition fees, and that would start to bring some of these huge surpluses that we have in our federal government down towards the people who really need it, to the families, to the hardworking students who are simply trying to do the best for the future. Talking about how we can get the banks to stop raising these fees and how unjust it is, and Tom points out that, you know, here you have a worker who's encouraged to have his check or her check deposited directly to their bank account, but then to go and take it out, you have to tip the bank president $2 just to get your own cash out. Well, I mean, this is just simply wrong when banks are doing as well as they are. The same with the petrochemical companies developing the oil sands. Now, I don't know if you've studied the oil sands development. I've been there. I've gone there and taken a look at what's happening. And when you speak about the environment, you really have to become aware of this project and why we called for a moratorium on further development. In fact, our candidate there drives one of those enormous trucks. You may have seen, if you've ever seen documentaries on the oil sands, these trucks are about 50 stories high. They're unbelievably huge. He's been driving them for 25 years, and he thinks that there should be a moratorium and a control on the rate of development, because it's just gone nuts. Now, it happens that we're shoveling your tax dollars, $1.2 billion a year, into the biggest oil companies in the world in order to help them to develop the oil sands. Shame. It is shameful. We could have a chorus of that if you'd like, just to... Shame! Okay, that's sounding more like the House of Commons at a good moment. Good. And we're calling for an end now to that $1.2 billion subsidy. We want every penny of it to go into the energy solutions that are going to reduce or eliminate greenhouse gas emissions. Wind turbines, solar energy, energy efficiency, so we use less in the first place. And we believe that with a fundamental transformation of our economy and our focus and our policies, we could put ourselves on track to meet targets like Kyoto and go well beyond them, which we must do.